Please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. Roll call, Mr. Lundberg.
Cullum.
Yes.
Odie.
Yeah.
Klatt. Saxer.
Yep.
Schrader.
Yes.
Okay, so next we have the approval of the agenda. I just want to make one change on their items. Under general business consent, approval 1 and 2 need to be moved above the line, so they will actually be discussed tonight. So if anyone has anything else they would like to change, speak now. If not, I would entertain the approval of the agenda as amended, please.
So moved.
Second. There's been a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. No conflict of interest disclosure or waiver requests tonight. No community input tonight. So that takes us to our first item, oral reports. The good news report from Special Services and BVHS.
This is just the Best Buddies International. It's an international organization, and this is their mission statement. So I just put that on here so you get ideas of what the whole organization is actually all about. It's a nonprofit organization that's dedicated to establishing a global volunteer movement that creates opportunities for one-to-one friendships, integrated employment, and leadership and for development of people with disabilities. So that's the big mission statement of the whole organization. Just to give you a little background about it, it started in the late 80s. I've been teaching for 25 years, and I didn't hear about this organization until the year before last, which is kind of crazy to me because it's huge. It's in every state now that we brought it here to South Dakota. 48 countries. Oh, you got to switch slides there, sorry. I'm on my own here reading it. 48 countries, 6 continents. It's in over 1,100 high schools around the world. It's in middle schools, colleges, and the adult work world. We were the first school in South Dakota to get it started. Roosevelt High School started a chapter this year, and there are more schools hearing about it, and that's why I've kind of been spreading the word. Lennox is going to be starting it next year. I had Douglas High School asking about it. Lincoln and Washington have been inquiring, and some smaller schools. So trying to get the word out there and let other schools see this great thing that we're seeing. We're considered an expansion state because we're brand new. If you get enough chapters and enough money, you can actually have your own Best Buddies state office, which would be a long-term goal someday, but there are quite a few of those in the country. And why did we start Best Buddies? That we felt we needed to bridge the gap between school and outside of school. Our kids are included in the school day here. They're in classes with the kids, they're eating lunch with the kids, they're high-fiving in the halls, and we just weren't seeing that carry over outside of school. And I had IEP meeting after IEP meeting where I would have parents' number one concern is that social piece that was missing for their child, and we just needed something to fix that, and we would brainstorm and try things, but we just couldn't get it to carry outside of school, and that's what we've been able to do with Best Buddies. And obviously, you know what friendship can do to help improve people's life, their self-esteem, independence, communication, social skills, quality of life in general. The next one. How do you get a chapter started? Well, you need a special education advisor, which is myself, and Kelly Eichelberg from the high school has helped out a lot this year as well. You need a student leadership team, which I've been so fortunate the first year I did it. The kids were just as excited about it as I was, and so are these guys. So they've been the ones really running the program. It's $350 a year for chapter dues, and that covers the price of one person to attend the leadership conference, and the organization does require that the chapter president attend that leader conference every year. That's a hands down if that president or one person can't go, you can't have your membership renewed for that year. Since we were new last year, we decided we didn't know about it, how to get it going. We did send our president, vice president, and our advisors. So 3 people have gone the last 2 years, and that was $350 a person. In the future, our goal would be to take one of our buddies along with us. That's one of our students with disabilities, because lots of buddies attend this conference. And I'm going to let Josh tell you about the conference. I call it a goosebump weekend, and you can't really describe it until you go. You have 2,300 people from around the world, all for the sole purpose of inclusion. It's hard to even describe, but I'll let him try.
Yeah, just kind of coming into it's at Indiana University, and as soon as you get on the campus, there's just hundreds of kids there. They're all running around and trying to find out where they're supposed to be. You're trying to figure out where you're supposed to be. It's kind of chaotic, especially for the whole first day. But then you get into this opening ceremony when they've got people with disabilities that are actors and people with disabilities that have jobs that in real life that have actually made themselves into successful people through Best Buddies. And they present themselves, and then there's music, and everybody's having a great time, and it's just everybody's in there with a common goal, and it's amazing. And you won't understand it until you've been there. But for us, it was really good to be there because we didn't know anything about Best Buddies last year, and even this year we didn't really know a lot about Best Buddies, so we needed a lot of help from them. And that's why, like, even if we tried to do this without the organization, I don't really think we could, because we need their leadership and we need like their testimonies, because there's some people there that have been in it since the beginning. They've been in it for 20, 30 years, something like that. So it's really amazing. But this year we have 70 members. We've got 15 buddies, and to get into the application process, we interview every person, and then we look through a kind of a pamphlet that they all fill out, and we try and find the best fit for each other. And this year we had a really good year. We haven't had any pairs that have really had problems, and we've got really good turnouts for our events. And one of the rules, I guess, is that you have to communicate with your buddy. So you have to come into contact with them one time per week via text, written correspondence, social media, or obviously a face-to-face contact. And then 2 times a month you have to be in person with them. And that helps so much with the buddies, because sometimes they just don't get a really good social connection other than their family members. And that's something that you need as you're developing, especially in high school. And at the end of the month, every peer buddy is required to document what they did with their buddy, and all that goes onto a list online, and I can review that, and then Amy and Sarah can review that too and make sure that everything's going correctly. And if there's any problems, if somebody's having troubles connecting with their buddy, we can go and talk to them and help them. And that's a really great thing, because it offers a lot of individual contact, and it also offers transparency. So funding is one thing that I haven't really touched on yet, but we do a lot of fundraisers. Last year we did working concessions, and then we did Pass the Bucket at a soccer game, coronation, and then the Polar Plunge. We got money from that, which was awesome. I did that. It was not as bad as I expected it to be. We received a Community Foundation grant this year, and then we have a bunch of other ideas that we're going to be implementing to get funding, such as we were going to do concessions at another game, and we were going to possibly do another bake sale like we did last year. But one of our main goals is getting more people involved. We got Roosevelt into it, and we're getting more and more schools, but getting together with a lot of the people in the area is really amazing. We had our Christmas party with Roosevelt High School in the Special Olympics building, and there was over 100 people there. It was awesome, because they do their stuff a little bit differently, and we do ours a little bit differently, but when it came together, it really worked out well, and we all had a great time. Essentially what we're hoping for is a long-term connection, and some of ours have connected past high school. I know with me, I had a buddy named Daniel who moved to Syracuse, and we still talk back and forth. We have an app called Marco Polo. It's kind of like Snapchat, but without the social media aspect. So you just send videos of yourself back and forth, and he gets up to everything up in Syracuse. And I'm going to hand it off to Sarah, who's going to explain some of the pictures.
Okay, so these are just kind of some of our events. Our first event every year is the match party, which is when people find out who their buddy is, which is kind of a big deal, and we try and make it like super like spectacular, and all the parents come, and it's a huge big deal for the buddies and for the peer buddies and associate members. Then the pumpkin patch was another one we did, and we got to all go through the corn maze, paint pumpkins, and just kind of hang out and jump on the jumping hill and stuff. That was at Yogi Bear Campground. And then another really popular one we did was bowling, and everyone came out. We had such a huge turnout. It was awesome, and some of the buddies were so into it because they do it for Special Olympics as well, and they were kicking my butt. So then this one was actually just yesterday. We had over 40 people in Amy Franson's house watching the football game. Everyone was getting super into it, especially Logan. Logan was very into the game. But it was cool just to have so many people show up just for that football game and to just spend time together. And then we also like to try and do holiday parties. So we'll just do little things during SRP at the end of the day, and we'll make crafts, and we'll usually have some kind of treat or something, and then play games, and it's a lot of fun just to kind of spend that last half an hour together of our day before the holiday break usually. And then these are just some of our pictures from our holiday parties. So this was Thanksgiving, and then we also did a Best Buddies in the kitchen, which was interesting, us trying to figure out how to make our homemade pizzas, but it was a lot of fun. And then we also did a movie day last year where we all got to get together and snuggle up with blankets and eat some popcorn. And then the Stampede game is always super popular, and everyone got to go and watch them play hockey. That was so much fun. And then we try to do a big event at the end. This was our event last year. We did a pageant, and then we had a limo ride as well. It was super fun, especially for us girls. We got to do their makeup and their hair and get them all dressed up. And then some of the students also performed. We had, who all performed? Yeah. Mariah did her sign language, and it was really cool just to see him get up there. And then the limo ride was also super fun. The Christmas party was probably my favorite event so far, just because we had so many kids there. As you can see, we filled the whole screen. Santa was probably overwhelmed, honestly. It was so much fun. We had karaoke and basketball and crafts and cookies. It was great having that many people there. I think that's the last one. Yeah, and then some more pictures from the Christmas parties. Josie was really rocking the karaoke for sure. She liked that.
My next two slides, as we're winding down here, have a lot of words, and I don't expect you to read them. It's more for myself. We have just a couple parent testimonies. I think we're seeing how this is impacting the kids, but it also impacts the families as well. This one says, we can't express how much this program has blessed Anna's life. Her buddies have been amazing. She's a social girl, but as she gets older, her social circle gets smaller, and she wants so badly to be like all the other kids. Her buddies have taken her shopping, out to eat, plays, to Brandon Valley games, attended Anna's dance performance, gone swimming, and just kept in contact with her via social media and phone. So just thanking us for that. I know this one's got a lot of words, but I just kind of sum it up that parents with disabilities can really understand the feeling. Like a few Saturdays ago, Kaylee went into the living room and she said, well, do you have any money for me? My ride's almost here. And as she walked out the door, the mom and dad looked at each other with tears on their faces. These kids who are best buddies to our kids are proud of what they're doing, but I feel good about it, but I don't know if they have a clue what it means to us moms and our children. For those 2 hours on Saturday night, Kaylee didn't have a disability. She had an outing with her friends. This shy little girl who became paralyzed with anxiety in social situations didn't think twice about going places when her buddy was there. She's her security blanket, her protector, and her friend. The Best Buddies program provides one of those links to our kids needed between merely living a life and experiencing life to its fullest. There's no measure for the impact or power of this program. We can't measure tolerance, acceptance, and friendships, but moms and dads sure know when they see it. And Maya's are doing the happy dance. This program needs to be in every school where children with disabilities are being educated, which is very cool. And then there's just one last one. I just always end with this picture. It was in the Brandon Journal, or Challenger, and the Artist Leader, and I don't know, the look on those two, it's like the friendship that they formed, it's pretty amazing. And I think that kind of sums up what we can do. So, all we have. Does anybody have any questions?
I'm sorry, and if I missed it, but what is the total number of pairs that you currently have in the program?
We have 15 buddies, and each buddy has a peer buddy and an associate buddy. So they have 2 kids matched with them. And then there's just 70 members in general that can come to any. So, yeah. And we do have some of our students that stay on the IEP after they leave high school for a couple years, and they're not in the building anymore. We've kept them on this year since we're still our kiddos. They're not in school getting that social interaction
thank you very much for coming and sharing with us tonight, so thank you. Next, okay. Administration reports, superintendent's report. Superintendent Larson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a quick update. Our focus groups are working through those three identified opportunities for growth, working on strategies for implementation, action plans, etc. Those items will be coming forward in our draft strategic plan here in the near future. As previously presented, Title I programming available funding is an issue. Reduction of available funds is requiring us to look at reduction in force in the Title I tutor staff specifically. We have informed the Title I tutors of the situation. The RIF process has begun in accordance to the negotiated agreement. The letter has been sent to BVA. I have met with BVA regarding ideas to accomplish the same things. No ideas at this point in time were brought forward by the BVA, so we will continue to work through that process and work through the identification of the individual within that Title I tutor staff that will need to be reduced. I would note that Reading Links is coming in the spring of 2018. Elementary schools are going to utilize Read Across America Week. I would applaud our administrative staff for working so closely together. Dr. Talcott has worked with the elementary principals, and we're going to plan on our high school students doing a wide variety of things in our elementaries, whether it be adopting a class or getting down and doing some group reading or some literacy, lit circle stuff, wide variety of activities in progress on Reading Links. Intermediate school, middle school folks are currently in the process of selecting their books and working through that selection so we can get those items ordered. So just be prepared. Reading Links is coming in the spring of 2018. Tonight we had a good news presentation from Special Services and the high school. I would note for the public and the board, we'll have good news presentations at our second meeting of the month for the remainder of the year. So you'll hear from all the levels moving forward. So just want to note that item. Also, note the registration for kindergarten screening for 2018-19 school year is open. Parents and or guardians need to contact their respective elementary school for additional information. And then want to provide the board with just a couple of items regarding legislative opportunities. School administrators have their legislative day on January 31st. I will be in attendance. And then also Associated School Boards of South Dakota hold their legislative day on February 20th. Certainly all board members are invited to attend. If you would like to attend, please contact myself and or Business Manager Lundberg so we can get your registration paid, etc. I will also plan on attending for the Associated School Board's Legislative Day as well. So just note those couple of legislative opportunities. And then for this school year's calendar, there's no school Friday, February 16th for in-service. And then also on that following Monday, February 19th, no school for President's Day. So that would be all I have this evening. Would certainly entertain any questions that you may have.
Any questions for Superintendent Larson? Thank you very much. Next, general business item number 1, adopt Brandon Valley School District 2018-2019 calendar.
Yes, Madam Chair, as previously presented, the 2018-19 calendar overview at the last meeting provided you with some specifics and a general overview of that 18-19 calendar. I would certainly entertain any questions that the board has at this time regarding this calendar, and if after that we can certainly go back to the drawing board and or adopt the calendar. So would entertain any questions that you may have.
Any questions from anyone tonight on the 2018-2019 calendar? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adopt the Brandon Valley School District 2018-2019 calendar as presented tonight.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a first and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Number 2, accept the independent auditor's report for fiscal year 2017.
Madam Chair, one item to note on the audit report is regarding the MacBook lease purchase. We coded the lease purchase, and I call it a lease purchase because we are leasing them over the period of 4 years, so it's broken into quarterly payments. But at the end of said term, the MacBooks are ours. So that's why I'm calling it a lease purchase. We coded the lease purchase as an operating lease. Auditors have altered the classification to a capital lease, which expends the lease in the initial year, whereas if you utilize an operating lease, it breaks it out over the 4 years. So the simplest way to put it is the first year of the MacBook lease, the auditors are requiring us to say $1 million versus 250 in FY 18, 19, 20, and 21. So just note that. It has no impact on the financial statements and does not result in an actual change in fund balance or budgeted approach to the MacBook lease purchase. It is simply a coding change from an operating lease to a capital lease, which causes an adjustment. If there's any additional clarification that you would like on that item or any other questions you have on the audit report, I would certainly defer to Business Manager Lundberg. But that is all I have regarding the audit.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Lundberg on the auditor report? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to accept the independent auditor's report for our fiscal year 2017 as presented tonight.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a first and a second. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. That takes us to personnel items, number 1 through 7. I would entertain a motion to approve those as presented.
I move to approve personnel items 1 through 7.
Second.
There's been a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. There's one item there for information only about a maternity leave. Under communication, there's some thank you notes there. That takes us to board reports and formal reports. Does anyone have any that they would like to share tonight? Hearing none, there's a travel report there for your review. And it looks like that takes us to the end of our scheduled agenda. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a first and a second. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Thank you for coming.